Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Oh, good morning! Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday to all across the Delaware Valley. Beautiful Monday. It's Memorial Day weekend week. So it's a good holiday week that takes us into the Shore. Kicking us off the Shore, man. The Shore 2024 at the end of this week. So we're having some fun. Big weekend for the fights. Oh, my. Don't forget, Anthony Gargano Show. Brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out truemark.com/PHLY and stop through your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. So it's another weekend series and another series win by the Phillies. So that's 20 in a row where they have either won or tied. I mean, are you kidding me? All right, so let's think about this. They sweep Washington. They score 11 runs yesterday on 12 hits. They're now 20 games over 500. 34-14. They have matched the best start, all right, through that piece, 34-14, tied by in 76 and, of course, 93, the 93 Phillies. I mean, are you kidding me? Bohm yesterday with a homer, right, hits a 3-run bomb in the 8th to seal it, knocks in 5. He's hitting .330 with 42 ribbies. What? It's May. It's May. Look at this. This is unbelievable. I mean, we haven't even hit Schwarber month, and they just don't lose. And every weekend, every game is a celebration. It's incredible. Like, I love doing the update every day because baseball's that sport that we always look at numbers and we look at, the records and kind of compare it and contrast it and what it correlates to. I mean, every day it's a blast. How about this? So Clemens, this is another one. He gets called up. He's had 28 at-bats. He's 9 for 28. He's got 3 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, and 10 ribbies. Are you kidding me? Like, they're getting that kind of contribution from Clemens, who looks like fabulous. And I don't know about you, but when he's up, like, I feel like he's going to do something. If you watch baseball the way we watch baseball, you have the hunch. Like, sometimes you go, I think he's going to hit a home run here. And next thing you know, he does it. Like, it doesn't happen every time, but the hunch in baseball is strong. And, I mean, Clemens, every time you're there, you feel like he's going to get a hit. You feel like, oh, my God, he's going to get a hit. Clemens is going to get a hit. Are you kidding me? Wow. They are just on fire. Absolutely on fire. So this is incredible. Incredible. Man, my God. So they're going to play Texas. So you get the world champions. You get Texas coming in tomorrow night for 3, and then they go to Colorado. Right? Colorado stinks. So you got Texas scuffling, right? The world champs, they're scuffling, but they still have a dangerous lineup. So it should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it, man. They are just on fire, and they are a blast to watch. My God. All right, we're going to have some fun today. because yesterday marked a very important anniversary in Philadelphia. And it's one of those things that I think shaped us. It happened 50 years ago yesterday. And it was the Flyers winning their first Stanley Cup. So the 73-74 Flyers, they were the first. They broke a drought. The city at that point was a mess. The teams were a joke. Remember, the Phillies, they had the ultimate collapse in 64. They other than that, they had just been bad, right? The vet opens, they haven't hit that stride yet with Boa and Schmidt and that whole crew. So baseball was bad. The Sixers had set a NBA record with losses. Remember how bad you've heard all about how bad the losses, how bad the record. They're still one of the most infamous teams in the history of the NBA. The Eagles were horrendous. That comes off the Joe Must Go and then Mike McCormick, and they were just ugly. There's white helmets with the green wing. It was just it was bad time. And the city itself was not good, right? Like, you were still a couple years away from the bicentennial celebration that marked 200 years of this country. And it was a bad place. Like, people, they would get ripped all the time. It had no standing. Center City was a wasteland. And, this is all stuff that, you go back. And I like to be sort of a historian of the city and certainly of sports in this town. So I wrote a piece. It's funny. I was working on a project, a TV project, that takes place in 1976. So I was doing all this research of Philadelphia, and there's a lot of flashbacks. So I was going through this whole time period of what Philadelphia was, and it was just a bad place, like, just not good, right? Like, we had no pride. It was a lot of strife. Times were hard. Now, it was like that all across the country during that period. That early 70s just was a tough period of time for this country. You're still off of Vietnam and everything else, so it's bad. Then you have this hockey team, and hockey was relatively new, right? They came in, whatever it was, 67, and nobody really knew a lot about hockey. We get the expansion team, right? The Spectrum is built, and then here come the Flyers, and people fell in love with hockey, and they fell in love with this team. And here they were, this band of Canadian dudes who came here, and they just, I think, impacted the soil of the town, the soul of the town. When they won, and they won with, they had great talent, like their top line with Bobby Clark and Reggie Leach and Rick McLeish or Bill Barber, the LCB line. They were tremendously talented. But they won with great hard work. They had a great goaltender in Bernie Perrott. They won with grit and fight. Like, literally and figuratively, they won with fight. And they truly embodied the spirit of Philadelphia. This town of fight, right? We were known for boxing. Town of fight. We fight our way. And that was this team. And they, in many ways, gave this city an identity. They gave this city a source of great pride. And so yesterday was the 50-year anniversary. And I like to think that Broad Street Bullies team, we always love sports, but I think our love of sports goes back there. Because that team kind of starts off the great runs, right? The Phillies start to get good. Vermeil comes and the Birds get good, right? The Sixers go get Dr. J in 76. So they get good, and all of a sudden the town's on a roll, and it fuels a love of sports and competition that we embraced. And I think that we still embrace to this day. That we go yesterday to Citizens Bank Park, and the throng of the crowd and the celebration and the singing and the dancing, I think it all has roots 50 years ago when I think we really fell in love with sports. And it was something to cling to. And that Stanley Cup ride. Now, the interesting thing about it is that 50 years later, there's still only 2 cups, the ones that team won. And the franchise has been languishing in recent years. But they get some good news from Russia. So reports out of Russia that Mishkov, the Russian wonderkin, has broken ties with his Russian team in the KHL and will now join the Flyers. So we'll see. This was a report out of Russia, and you can well imagine you don't know what's going to happen. But it appears that Matvei Mishkov, who could be the savior of the franchise, is on his way. So we'll have more of that, which is amazing. That we get 50 years ago, the Flyers win, and then all of a sudden you get Mishkov on his way. And I'll ask some of the guys. We have a lot of great guests coming on today. We got Don Saleski, Big Bird. They all had great nicknames, right? Dave Schultz, the Hammer, is going to join us coming up at 10. The great Bernie Perrant. Only the Lord saves more than Bernie. All right? Bob the Hound Kelly. It was just awesome. And those names that you know, that you've seen around, right? Like even if you're 20 years old, you know these names. They're around, right? Because you go, oh yeah, the old Flyers, the old Broad Street Bullies. They've become immortalized, which is the most amazing thing, that these group of guys that won a Stanley Cup, like think about how many championships, 200 champions, we have crowned since then, and that team just lives on. And it's very cool. It's a great story, and we'll celebrate the anniversary with those guys. That's Popping Off, brought to you by Olipop. Yes, make sure you find the Olipop, which is the soda that's good for you. Even Mr. McCaffrey, all right, would approve of Olipop because it's the soda that's good for you. I don't know if you saw this post, but Christian McCaffrey's dad, Ed McCaffrey, was very different with his son, which I'm taking notes of. I'm already getting ripped for following his lead. Anyway, Olipop is the soda that's good for you. He didn't allow Christian to have soda. Well, Olipop is good for you, man. Good for gut health. Even Mr. McCaffrey would be happy with that. Check it out, your nearest Wawa. Good morning, JP. We say, brother.
Buenos dias, cuz. That, you sent us that this morning, that Instagram post. That was so funny. Like seeing all those. Some of those were a little ridiculous. He wouldn't allow Christian to squint so he can save energy.
I know.
Squint in the sun, by the way. Squint in the sun.
Yeah, I know. He couldn't yell crazy at pep rallies.
No, yeah. So he wouldn't lose his voice. Like, what? It's not like he's singing in the choir.
I know. And how about he wore sweatpants?
Yeah. They don't want to.
So I'm taking notes as dad of my kids.
Speaking of which,
I'll try anything.
How did the tournament go?
No, it was horrible.
Oh.
We were in Reading for the tournament, the big show.
Yeah.
I mean, this place was just acres of soccer fields and baseball fields.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great spot.
Yeah.
But, we did not play well.
No, yeah.
The boys lost. We blew a big lead Saturday night in the last inning. And then yesterday we flamed out early.
Oh.
Yeah, no good.
You got to learn from these cuz.
I know. I was my speech to Massimo on the way home.
You got to lose sometimes.
He did not hit well. I think he's hunting for homers. You get the itch.
Yeah.
You hit a couple, Now all of a sudden you want to hit that you want that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So you're hunting home runs.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to give him the Bohm approach. All right? Just go. Plate coverage, man.
That's right.
Home runs will come.
Well, listen, if you watch Anthony Edwards' press conference, you learn a thing or two. You see them, obviously, congrats to the T-Wolves, advanced to Western Conference
I love
Finals.
Anthony Edwards.
That press conference was awesome.
He's the best.
He was pretty much saying that Minnesota the last 20 years have been doing a lot of losing. So,
Yeah.
and look at them now. They're celebrating going to Western Conference Finals.
They have done nothing. Like Minnesota,
Literally
you
nothing.
think about it, right?
Bunch of lottery picks.
Yeah. No, it's a great story. And that team was legitimate. Like the Pacers, Knicks, I mean, both of those teams would have been Celtic food. Like, so Indiana wins. They're going to get crushed by Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's going to win that in 6. Tatum's going to score because they don't play any defense. So Tatum and Brown will score 35 a game, and that'll be that.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Western Conference should be interesting. I mean, obviously, you got the Luka Kyrie effect here for Dallas, but it's all about Anthony. And just those Twin Towers they have in Minnesota, too, such a great compliment
I'll
to
tell
Anthony.
you, though, Dallas is nasty.
I was watching a
They
little
play
bit.
good defense. Like, forget about just Luka and Kyrie, but like PJ Washington was a big, they're bigs, Lively.
Yeah, but Lively. That was pissing me off. I
Gafford.
was watching a little bit of that at the end on Saturday, and it was just like, why don't we have a backup center who just, all he does is board, cuz.
I know.
Everywhere. This Lively kid was everywhere getting the freaking board.
No, listen. They play good
Absolutely wild.
defense. That's a good series. That's good.
Yeah.
That's actually a great series.
Should be
Great
fun.
basketball.
Should be fun.
I just hope whoever wins, we're going to root T-Wolves because Anthony
yeah.
Edwards. How could you not root for Anthony Edwards? He's the best. Right?
What you want.
He's an Anthony.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's an Anthony. I love it.
I love the kid. So I look at him and I go, they're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think it's going to be, and I just pray they beat Boston.
Yeah, that's all
Right.
what we're hoping for, right? That's hoping that I do believe it's going to be Minnesota, but I think that what's best part about the Western Conference Finals, so that's going to be a really tough series. So whoever wins, listen, I think they're going to have the advantage in the NBA Finals because listen, Boston, the NBA playoffs are not easy. We all understand that, but I feel like Boston's had the easier route, whereas Minnesota faced off they beat the reigning champs.
No, without a doubt. Listen, they're not going to get Cleveland was not equipped to play them or play them tough, and Indiana's not either. So it is what it is. So, but a couple things though. One, you're on the Flyer beat.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Mishkov.
today. Well, yesterday was a good day in general. Obviously, we celebrated the 50 years, which we'll obviously dive into here today. But, if you're a Flyers fan waking up on a Sunday morning, nursing maybe a little bit of a hangover, you see this news, you have to feel spry-eyed.
You were
Because
at the festival?
yeah, I was not. I wish I was.
No.
Oh, you're talking
For
about
the
the Italian
hangover.
festival.
Yeah,
we were talking about that earlier.
yeah.
The Hangover Festival. I was in
I know
that boat.
VG looks a little sluggish today.
Did you go to the Italian festival,
He was
VG?
at the festival.
Yeah.
He was on 9th Street yesterday.
Oh, man. No,
Yeah.
but the Mishkov news definitely put a smile on your face. Now, listen, if you're the Flyers, you have to play the smart, right? Because the last thing you want to do is piss off the Russian team over there. They have some personalities over there. So I think the Flyers, what Danny's shown us, he's very savvy with these negotiations, especially we saw what he did with Fedotov. We thought he would never come here. This one's going to be a little bit more trickier, but obviously, this is what we've been, waiting for, right? A player like
I'm anxious
Mishkov,
to see,
top end talent.
yes, who's got that sort of
That shot.
scoring prowess, right? Who's got that kind of touch? I mean, look, he changes the whole face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Right? We
Now-
moved the Flyer jersey in the front. You remember the 50 years. But I got news for you. They all of a sudden, you have someone they look for, get excited about, who's got that kind of ability to score.
I love your opening monologue here today because I think you set it up perfectly. Because obviously, yesterday, listen, in Flyers history, that's one of the most exciting days ever in Flyers history. So you talk about news like Mishkov. That puts some excitement into the Flyers fans.
Yeah.
Past couple of years, it has not been fun, cuz. The Rangers own us, right? We went through Vigneault. Poor Mike Yeo had to suffer through that 21 season at the end of
God,
it.
Mike
Yeo. This year we had to deal with Carter Hart.
Oh my God, these names are just.
Eileen Vigneault, his little martinis. He was a martini guy.
No, I liked Vigneault, but he was a gentleman.
Yes, he was a
He was
gentleman.
a cool guy.
Yeah, but now we got Torts, the
Yes.
hard head,
Yes.
setting up the culture.
I still miss Laviolette.
I do too, cuz. I do too.
I like Tortorella though. All right, but wait. Before we go off on our Flyer celebration, and there's going to be a lot. We're going to walk down memory lane with a lot. You're going to get an education.
I can't wait, cuz.
Like, I love the history of our town.
For sure.
So hearing stories that, I have not heard, I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to have some fun. The Phillies.
The Fightins.
I led with them. We need to discuss them. They are amazing as I stare at Julia,
and her
our
slides.
executive producer, with her slides. She has 4 pair of Philly slides.
She wore the day 1 slides on Saturday's PHLY Phillies. By the way, thank you to everyone who came out and hung out with us for the PHLY Phillies tailgate. But Jules had the day 1 slides on because she's a slide girl through and through.
A Philly slide girl.
Philly slides through and through.
But let's talk about them for a second, because every day it feels like the numbers are just more and more impressive.
Yeah.
34-14, so you're 20 games over 500. You match the best start since 93 and 76, right? 2 of the epic seasons that took place. You score 11 runs. You sweep Washington. Bohm is ridiculous. 330, 42 ribbies. Has a homer in 5 yesterday.
Yeah. Because this is absolutely insane. It's funny because, it does, everything you're saying, it feels and sounds like 09, 10, 11, like those teams that were just absolutely
it feels like the last 2 falls, right?
That too, but the thing is they've been having players in and out of the lineup. You got guys like Cody Clemens stepping up. We go back to Larry Boa's interview last week, him talking about the complementary pieces. And that's an important part. When you're talking about 162 games, you're going to need to use everybody in that dugout. And that's what they're doing. These bats are swinging. You mentioned some of those numbers.
Using everybody with Clemens. I mean, Clemens is the poster child of that.
Absolute professional, that kid.
Dude, I mean, forget about 9 for 28.
Boomer.
3 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 10 ribbies. What? You're getting that from Clemens? I mean that's 28 at bats. That's a Schwarber 28 at bat.
And cuz we're not even in June.
Less the triple.
We're not even in June for Schwarber to go off as well. And
you
got the young kids stepping up.
Bryce has been spotty. He'll have some big games, but when Bryce puts together that 2 weeks. That 3 weeks where he's just torrid, and Schwarber, and then they're putting up 10 a night.
Oh, by the way, you're going to get Trey Turner back too?
Yes. He's going to take round balls, so he's ready.
Yeah, I'm excited. Now, this Phillies team is awesome. The pitching staff is freaking great too. We were talking about Ranger Suarez in the pre meeting there, but now this Phillies team is so much fun. It's so hard, and honestly, cuz I'm excited for this week. I know the Rangers are a little bit off, but it's something about going up against the reigning champs. You get yourself up for those type of games. I'm super excited for this week. This team is going to smile on your face.
The most ridiculous thing is it's baseball, right? So they go, the schedule. Who have they played?
You got to play who's in front of you.
First of all, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right? There's 3 teams that are elite. The Phillies, the Dodgers, and Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Now, Atlanta loses last night to San Diego. Darvish pitched well. But it doesn't. Baseball's a game where it's not about the opponent, right? It's about the attrition. If you're going to go 34-14, it tells you kind of baseball you're playing.
Yeah.
Right? It's different. It's not like you could talk about opponents like the NFL. Mm-hmm. Strike the schedule. That's not nonsense. The fact that they're 34-14 is legitimate. I don't care who they're playing, where they're playing is legit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's funny because we were talking, a month or 2 ago, about how no more 500 for here on out, everything above 500. And here we are talking about the hottest team in baseball, and just the way they're doing it is super impressive. I can't wait for playoffs. I don't want to look too far ahead.
Nah, enjoy the season.
This gets you excited for what's going to happen down the line.
We haven't had Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, I'm excited for that too.
Kicks off. It's the official start of summer and the Shore.
Beach and baseball, baby.
Right. So Phillies and the Shore. It's perfect. So you got a whole summer to look forward to. And when they're this good, you want to be in every night. Yeah. I don't want to fast. Because you know what? Who the hell knows what happens in the fall, right? Let's just 162.
Get a couple brews on the beach.
Amen, brother.
That's 6 o'clock first pitch. Oh, I can't wait for this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. All right. Lots to get to. Let me first tell you about the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Oh, man. You got NBA conference finals coming up, all the Philly stuff, which is tremendous, right? Like, so all the stuff with the Phillies, same game parlays, any of your props, you can have some fun with it, crooked numbers, total bases. Man, you can go wild, especially when you have a good baseball team. So make sure you download the BetPark Sportsbook Casino app. And actually, when you're in the middle of an inning and you feel like just having some fun, you got the casino right there. In fact, live table games on your phone. And if you're looking for some incredible entertainment, head to Parks Casino in Ben Salem. You can go there and wow, all the state-of-the-art poker room and the slots and all the table games, the exquisite dining that's everywhere there. The sports book is beautiful. So you got to check it out, man. Parks Casino in Ben Salem, and of course the BetParks Sportsbook and Casino app. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Ohio for the BetParks Sportsbook app.
Awesome stuff, cuz. All right, guys, let's talk about our dear friends over at Mortgage CS. Listen, I talked a lot with my friends, and they're in the process thinking. They're just thinking about buying themselves a home. But one of the big things, their biggest pushbacks is those interest rates. And I understand they are rising. They're rising at an incredible rate that's not fun, right? But that's why Mortgage CS is here for us, ladies and gentlemen, because with these rising rates, what's important is to get on top of home buying before they go even higher. And that's where Mortgage CS has us covered right now. But not only just that, not only are they having us covered with these rising rates, but they can also help you refinance to save some money when those rates drop. And who does not love that, guys? The same house with a lower payment. Values are expected to keep going up, so don't put off buying just because rates are slightly elevated. Refinancing with Mortgage CS is straightforward. When rates drop, Mortgage CS will monitor your refinance opportunities and ensure you'll save money responsibly. You don't want to pay a ton of fees when you refinance. You'll never get that at Mortgage CS. And in the end, you'll be happy that you texted Ben. That's right. Ben Sucker, CEO of Mortgage CS, his phone number is right on the screen. Make sure you guys text him. Ask him, how did he celebrate the 50-year anniversary? I know Ben is a huge Flyers fan, so I know he had a thing or two for the anniversary. You can text him at 267-391-7425. You can also ask him any questions you may be having about home buying. That's what Ben is there for. But you can also go to mortgagecs.com/PHLY. Again, that's www.mortgagecs.com/PHLY to check out everything Mortgage CS has to offer. So next time you're thinking about home buying or have any questions, make sure you guys check out our friends over at Mortgage CS. And thank you to Mortgage CS.
All right, listen, I'm very excited, by the way, JP. How about this?
All right.
The show today makes its debut.
Debut?
Yes.
Where we at, cuz?
We are right here on Fox Local.
Woo!
Yes,
Let's
download to your smart TV. And in fact, I was on Good Day this morning with Mike and Alex.
How they doing?
They're doing great.
Awesome.
To talk about this. So on Fox Local, every day, the show, in case you miss it or portions of it, will air at 1 o'clock on Fox Local.
That is awesome.
So we're very excited. We love this. I've been working with Fox 29, the great people, forever for the last 25 years.
Over there.
So I'm very excited to have the show on the Fox Local streaming.
Cause no excuse to miss the Anthony Gargano show.
No.
We can watch it, listen to it wherever. Now on Fox Local.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
That's freaking awesome.
I'm very excited.
I love it.
This portion of the program is brought to you by TrueMark. That's it, TrueMark Financial Credit Union. So a couple things, right? Because we're going to wait for Don Saleski is going to join us, Big Bird, to begin our kind of walk down the retrospective and walk down memory lane with the Flyers Cup. 50 years and how it shaped us. And I think, listen, it shaped the town. When an event like that happens, you know, there was, I think, 2 million people at that parade.
Wow.
And like, I remember asking people, reporting on it.
Uh-huh.
And I was doing, probably was the 25-year anniversary, right?
Okay.
Like, and I remember asking people what it was like, and they said it was this amazing spectacle. And nobody expected 2 million people. That's where the polls, the greasing of the polls started because
Flyers
people were
fans.
climbing. Yesterday was the Italian Market Festival, right, on 9th Street, and they climb the grease poles. And we remember that during Phillies and Eagles, they greased the poles. That all started because of the Flyers parade.
Look at that. They did that. The orange and the black.
Well, it was wild. Like, you see footage of that parade, and it was incredible. People were climbing. There were streakers. There was like VGs. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, incredible. All right, to talk about this, we're going to talk to several members of that team, and they all had the best nicknames.
They did.
And joining us, Big Bird, the great Don Saleski. Good morning, Don.
It's a good face.
Poor Don's frozen. Big Bird, he's frozen.
Can't wait to find out why they call him Big Bird.
Trying to figure out his connection right now.
Yeah, he had this shaggy hair.
I have
Right, you see it?
Yeah, I have the picture.
He had the shaggy hair, and they called him Big Bird. Like, they all had
the lettuce.
the hockey lettuce.
Yeah, they
right?
love that.
They all had the hockey lettuce, but they also, they did. They all had these incredible nicknames.
They did. They did. Obviously, I knew. So it's funny because I was telling you in the pre-meeting, growing up, I would watch. Ironically, I would watch the Broad Street Bullies doc when you were in it.
Yes,
I watched that.
HBO.
I mean,
geez, that was
2010.
Yeah.
I would go on YouTube to watch all those highlights because I was so amped up. And then I would see Dave the Hammer Schultz just beating everybody up. And I fell in love with Dave the Hammer Schultz. I actually bought one of his jerseys. They were selling them at Mitchell and S back in those days.
So these guys were, it was so interesting. You must have been like wide-eyed watching this stuff. Listen, YouTube, I love YouTube, right?
Huge for us young fans.
No, it's the greatest. It's the greatest invention ever.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Where you get to house all this content, and we obviously are on YouTube Live every day. The fact that you can go back and you can be exposed to this sort of, and it was so different. Like, you saw all the fights, and there's full games on that thing.
I think I saw the whole Russian game one night. I saw the whole game when we beat the Russian. All right, cuz.
Are we good? Okay. I don't see anything on the screen. That's why. There we go. Hey, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Little tech issues, but we're good. We're good. We were just talking about it because we're doing this retrospective with the Broad Street Bullies, and it's 50 years since they win the first cup. And you were in the middle of telling the story about, because I'm fascinated by you. Here you are, right? Your first foray into it, and you're watching that team on YouTube. And we have we got Don, I think, with us. Let's give it a shot. Good morning, Don.
Morning. How you guys doing?
There he is. There's the Big Bird. Happy anniversary, buddy.
Yeah, 50 years. Time flies.
What do you remember? Like, when I say to you about that cup and that whole run, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
You know what? It's so long ago. How do you remember? You remember pieces of it, but you guys jog my memory. And then when I read some of these articles, you start thinking more about it because so much time has passed. But I just think of how nuts it was. I was reflecting on that this morning. That first cup that we won after the game, you couldn't Spectrum. We couldn't even get to Rexy's. We wanted to go to Rexy's and we couldn't even get out of the Spectrum. There was crowds there all night long. So we stayed in the director's room all night and partied after beating Boston. And I think we left there. It was light out. I know it had to be 7 or 8 in the morning by the time that we left there. So it was a pretty crazy time. It was unexpected.
Right.
I mean, we were hoping that we would beat Boston, but you don't take anything for granted. I watch the playoffs now, and you look at how hard it is to win that fourth game, and I watch these teams competing, and winning the fourth game in any sport is always so damn hard. So for us to beat Boston in six, not have to go back there, it was unbelievable. My biggest memory of that night, of during the game, was there was probably 4 minutes left in the game, and I was going on the ice, and Phil Esposito was leaving the ice, and he said to me, "We're not going to score on that guy tonight." And that's my most vivid memory, because Bernie Perrant was just that good for those 2 years until he got that injury. He was arguably the best goalie for those 2 years that ever played. So that's one of my more vivid memories.
That's a great story. The fact that he's saying we're not scoring on that guy tonight, that's awesome.
I said to myself, okay, now I know we're in their head. And then after that, everything's a blur for a few days, because from there you always remember things like Kate Smith and her singing, and Phil Esposito giving her the flowers, thinking that was something that was gonna, be a good omen for them, which didn't work out. Kate was in our corner. The chills of her singing that national anthem, and I'm talking about chills when she sang or God Bless America before that game, and just the atmosphere in that building, how loud it was, how into it the fans were, how I don't think anybody sat down the whole game. It was those memories are unbelievable. Then there's kind of a blur, and then we get into the parade, and you go to that parade, and the parade was nuts, because who would have anticipated like close to 2 million people showing up for a parade? Philly was obviously starved for a winner, and we were the winners at the right time, and we had the great reputation. The Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies, and all that kind of stuff going on. But we had cars that first year. There wasn't any, big trucks that we were riding on. So we were on cars. Everybody thought that we'd just like ride along and wave to people, and you couldn't get anywhere. And the car that we had, these convertibles, and the car that my wife and I were in overheated. We had these Dodge Darts, I think they were, and it overheated. We were sitting inside of it, and the guys, some guys that were dressed in the mummers costumes, the clown costumes for mummers, they pushed us from Broad and Pattison all the way to City Hall. They pushed our car because it overheated, and I had on this safari suit thing. These are memories that you never forget. I got a picture of it. I met the guy, a couple of years ago, because he saw the picture and he said that was me. So I wound up meeting the guy, but somebody ripped the sleeve off of my jacket. And when we got to City Hall, the mayor was, uh, had the presentation from the mayor, and we were sitting in these stands. And I reached into my pocket, uh, in my one jacket pocket, and I pulled out, and these were not mine, trust me, not in those days. I pulled two joints out of my pocket. I reach into the other pocket, and there was a handful of pills. I have no idea what they were. I said to my wife, "Look at this shit." And I dropped it in the stands. I said, "I can't get caught with this stuff. What the hell's going on?" These are so, and people giving us champagne and beer and stuff. So it was insane stuff.
That is awesome. You reach in your pocket and you find joints and pills.
Oh
Only in
yeah,
Philadelphia.
it was crazy. I was like, "What? What the hell? Only in Philly? I mean, what the hell?"
What,
I guess they thought that I looked a little tired or something, or I needed to relax. I don't know what the hell.
what do you think it meant I was trying to draw the parallel that I think you guys really began our love affair with sports in general, because then it all starts to get better. The Phillies start to win, the Sixers, the Eagles, they all start to get good. And it all started with you. It was almost like you instilled that team, and you guys instilled a sense of pride into the city.
Well, you're right. It's good to be first, right? We were blessed in that regard, and we were just the right place at the right time, and it helped create a winning atmosphere in the city. It changed from a city that was a city of loser teams to a sense of pride in the city that we could win, and and
Oh, wait, I think
we froze up.
Yeah, we're good now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you finish, Don? Because you're an exceptional storyteller. I got to tell you, I'm loving this stuff. This is incredible.
Well, we had a lot of fun, and I just read an article about Rexy's this morning, and that's where we all hung out. The first year that I was with the Flyers, we would go to Rexy's every day because we all lived in New Jersey.
Yep.
But then some of us gravitated to Delco, to Delaware County. So the Watsons, Barry Ashby, Ed Van Imp, myself, all lived in the media area or Springfield.
Sure.
And so we practiced back then at Penn Rink. So we got ourselves our new Rexys. We used to go to Penn Rink. We'd catch the train down, and we'd sit there talking to fans on the way down to practice in the morning, reading the newspapers with everybody. We'd catch a train into Penn, and then we'd go to Kavanaugh's afterwards. So Kavanaugh's was our hangout.
Really?
And we used to go to Kavanaugh's after practice, have lunch, have a few beers, pick up a six-pack, get back on the train, have a few beers on the way back. And I remember Cowboy Flat, different world, right?
Yeah.
Cowboy Flat would be would go up and drive the train with the conductors, with the train operators. I mean, it was a different world, and we were celebrities in the biggest way, in a huge way. We were recognized everywhere we went. It was hard after we won that first cup. It was hard to go out anywhere, because anywhere that we go, there'd wind up being a crowd following us and looking for autographs and wanting to talk to us. I remember going downtown to Boyd's, and by the time I left Boyd's, and it was on 11th and Market back in those days, by the time I walked out of the store, there was like 400 or 500 people outside of the store. It was insane. The city fell in love with us in a good way.
Well, I think you gave them something. You instilled a lot of pride in the town. I remember, beyond sports, the town was not looked at favorably, across America, right? And here was this significant city when it comes to this country, and it had lost all of its luster. And I think, I think you guys had a lot to do with, the reclaiming, I think, a lot of the glory. And nobody would expect it, right? Like, first of all, hockey was new in Philadelphia. I mean, relatively, right? 66, 67 was the expansion. And then, here you guys come shortly thereafter, and like the whole town falls in love with you, falls in love with the sport, and it just becomes a thing.
Well, I remember when I got drafted my first year that I was playing with the Flyers. We came down. I flew into Philly, and there was the Penn Center Hotel. I think it was on the corner of 20th and Market. It's gone now, right? The whole landscape of Philly's obviously changed in a positive way, and the whole image of Philly. But everything was dark. I, I flew in. I caught a cab downtown. It was a nasty old cab. I'll never forget it. I drove across the Penrose Bridge with the cab, by the car eating machine, by the refineries, all this smoke and dirt. Got out at the Penn Hotel, and I went for a walk, and there was all there were, these adult bookstores around, and
Yeah.
it was nasty. And I got up to my hotel room and I called my dad and I said, Dad, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, but it's not going to be in Philadelphia. This place is horrible. And 50 years later, I'm in love with the city, and I have nothing but great memories. And you know what? We got to, you know who we got to give a lot of credit to in this whole thing? Fred Shero.
Yes.
Fred Shero was uh, he was way ahead of his time in terms of how he thought about the game, how he recognized the individual talents on our team, and let those individual talents come forward, and he let everybody be their own personality. And if you look at our team, we all had significantly different personalities. It was a collection of misfits and a lot of talented hockey players. And Freddie developed a system, and he expected us. We would practice for hours, and all we would do is practice the system over and over and over again. So he required a high degree of discipline within the system, but then within that framework, he would let everybody's personality come forward. It was like a guy like Rick McLeish. He would even say in practice, "Look, I expect everybody to follow the system. The only guy that doesn't have to is Ricky. Ricky, you can do whatever you want." And that was the kind of the guy he was. And he let for a couple of years there, he let Schultz, myself, Hound, and then DuPont joined us. He let us do whatever we wanted on the ice. And I'll never forget the first season that we came here. St. Louis had just come in with the Plaguers and Noel Picard and these guys, and beat the crap out of the Flyers. A bunch of those guys, I think, got arrested. And Ed Snyder said, "This isn't going to happen to my team again." And then the following year, he brought in myself, Schultz, Kelly, and the first year against St. Louis in an exhibition game, uh, that was our first opportunity to kind of let everybody know that there was a new identity. And a brawl started early on, had to be the first period. And Schultz and everybody there were guys that, everybody on the ice was fighting. And I was the last guy, and the guy that was left was Noel Picard. And Noel Picard was a guy that was like 6'5", probably 250. And he dropped his gloves, and I lined up against him, and he took a big swing at me. And he stepped on a stick and fell down, and I jumped on top of him. And all I could think of was, yes, there is a God. He saved my life. This guy would have killed me. But, after that kind of set the tone. That was like putting the league and Philadelphia on notice that this was a different era, that there was a different team and we weren't going to be pushed around. And then when you look at the team, you start with, we had Bill Flint the first year, then Reggie Leach came in, but Bill Barber, Hall of Fame, Clark, Hall of Fame, uh, Bernie Perrant, Hall of Fame, Rick McLeish scored 50 goals. Dornhofer scored 30 goals a year. Ross Lonsberry, 25 to 35 goals a year. We had myself and Kinderchuk that on a third line that scored 20 goals. Not that year, but we became 20 goal a year scorers. So, and on defense, we had, solid, proven, tough guys. Ed Van Imp, probably one of the toughest guys, and arguably one of the toughest and dirtiest players that ever played the game. I mean, nobody was tougher than Ed Van Imp. And then we had the Watsons, we had Barry Ashby, we had Jimmy Watson, Tom Bladen. We had a hell of a hockey team. But, it was kind of overshadowed by the Broad Street Bully stuff. Arguably, I think that for a couple of years there, and then the third year, Bernie got hurt, and we were up against the Canadians, who were just a powerhouse. And without Bernie and Net, that was a difference maker. So we had a fantastic run.
Yeah, it's interesting because you touch on something. People forget how talented you guys really were. I mean, you went through the roster. You could play hockey. It wasn't just about, beating the pulp out of people, which you guys could do. The intimidating piece of it. It was the sport itself. That was just part of the landscape. And you guys, were every bit. I'm glad you talked about Fred Shiro because he was such an interesting character, studying the Russians, understanding, the game from that perspective and all the different nuance.
Well, two things about Freddie Shiro. When we played against Boston in the finals that year when we won the cup, our whole philosophy, our game strategy was, do you still have me there?
Yeah, I got you.
The whole philosophy was dump the puck in to Bobby Orr and the first guy take his body. No other team would have ever thought of that. So instead of trying to keep the puck away from Orr, his strategy was give him the puck, take his body, take him out of the play, and wear him down. And don't let him get back into the play. And back then, you could do a lot of interference and stuff like that. There was only one ref. You didn't have two guys calling penalties. And so by the end of the series, Bobby Orr was worn down. Then you go to the Russian game and talking about Freddie studying Russia and hockey. Freddie, in the Russian game, he said, we practiced several days on just holding our position. And he said, the reason the teams are getting beat by these guys is they're chasing the Russians all over the ice. The Russians would cycle a puck and wait for people to leave positions and start chasing them around the ice. And then they'd play to open positions where guys left their spots, right? And so our whole game plan was holding our positions, not leaving, not letting anybody leaving any of their players in the open for that pass to be able to gain in the zone. So Freddie was, I think he was a key guy to leading us to those championships and to beating the Russians.
So I got an old friend of yours who is on the line with us, and I got to have you guys on together. Say hello to the great Dave Schultz. Don.
The Hammer. What's happening?
Hi, Don. How are you? How you doing?
You look pretty good today.
Oh, yeah?
You look great, Dave.
Hey, where were we 50 years ago? We were sitting around the spectrum. It was about 75 degrees or whatever, getting ready to go on a parade. It was awesome, huh?
We were drunk as hell.
Well, you were.
Okay. I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's a fog. But, guys like you that are sober now, good for you. Proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm, I probably didn't feel this good 50 years ago this morning. So, yeah.
Don was just, Dave was telling some incredible stories about, that game and that night. And you guys, when you guys beat Boston, the city descends upon the spectrum and you guys can't even leave. Like you guys couldn't, Don, I love what you said. You couldn't even go to Rexy's, your spot, to celebrate. What was that like, Dave?
Couldn't make it there.
Yeah, it was. I remember more the next day, 50 years ago today, the parade and going in front of 2.1 million people. It was unbelievable. Uh, I not that I don't remember the game. I certainly do. Certainly the I've seen many times when Gene Hart calls it down and Bernie made a big stop. Yeah, right. He didn't even see the puck, but good thing it missed the net. Anyway, yeah, it was. They were special times, and again, I'm thinking this morning. We had a year or so of this. When we were dominating the National Hockey League and selling to sellout crowds all over the league, and winning again in May 27th of '75.
What was it
Here,
like, boys?
you want to know? Here's what I remember. I got one memory. Playing in Boston in the fifth game when we won that game, and we'd never won in Boston, and there was a few minutes left in the game, and Freddie put Schultz out on the ice with Flett and Clark, and Kinderchuck and I were sitting there saying, "What the hell is he doing putting Schultz out with those guys on?" And they scored a goal and we won the game, Schultz. I never
Yeah,
forget that. Proved us wrong, buddy.
yeah, that's how smart Freddie was. He was very smart, great coach. He knew. Well, there was a guy behind us. I hadn't played for the last 10 minutes of the game, of the third period, and there was 10 minutes into overtime, and some guy behind our bench yelled, put Schultz out there so we can score. Well, I took the puck from O'Reilly, gave it to Flett, who gave it to Clark, and that was the
That
end of
was
that.
it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
You
awesome.
and
How
you
about
you
that
mean
story?
you're telling me that you and Kinderchuck questioned that, putting me out there?
Questioned it. We were like, "What the hell's going
What's
on
he doing?
here?"
I never heard that one before. Yeah. Okay.
What was were teams? Did you establish something, guys, where teams were just intimidated coming into the Spectrum, right? Like you could see them almost melt. Like the fans, it felt like there was just such great power at the Spectrum. Did teams were they afraid to come into it?
Well, the story, I'll just recite this. Rod Gilbert told the story. They take the bus, at least in those days, to Philadelphia, the Rangers, and they'd be having a great time talking and all this, having a few laughs on the bus. And as soon as they came over the Walt Whitman Bridge, the bus would go quiet because they could see the Spectrum, and they pull in down below the Spectrum. And when the bus driver turned the bus off, the bus kept shaking. You get it?
I get it, man. Those people are crazy. I can only imagine Philadelphia. You guys embodied. I was talking to Don about this, Dave. That you guys embodied the city. That's kind of why they loved you guys. Like these people, they adored you, and I think because you represented them.
That's right.
Go ahead, Don.
You know what happened in Philly? We got the reputation that teams used to get the Philadelphia flu. It was amazing how many guys would get sick or hurt when they came to Philadelphia. They didn't really want to come and play on that ice too badly. I remember poor Marcel Dion. Remember him with L.A.? he, he didn't even want to get on the ice in Philadelphia. It would be.
God, that's awesome. The Philadelphia flu. That's incredible. Don, what do you remember about Dave and his incredible prowess to protect and Schultz's army?
Well, here my memories of Dave. We sat beside each other in the locker room, so we had a lot of fond memories. But you know what I one memory, vivid memory is we were getting ready to play St. Louis, and Schultz was rapping his knuckles because he was anticipating to fight DuPont. You know, DuPont was the tough guy with St. Louis. And so he's sitting there rapping his knuckles, and I'm talking to him, what are you doing? He says, you know, I know I'm going to fight that guy tonight. I won't use the language that he was using. But, you know, I know DuPont's coming. I'm ready for him. I'm this and that. And like 2 minutes later, DuPont walks into our dressing room carrying his bag, and he got traded right before the game. And I turned to him and I said, Schultz, I guess you could unwrap your hands tonight. You're not going to need to be taped up. But you know, with playing with Davey, uh, to me, I was blessed. I wasn't a fighter. I was an instigator, and I caused a lot of shit. I probably caused a lot of the fights that he got into. But you know what? Knowing that I always had that guy on my wing and with my back probably made me a lot tougher player than I ever was. Because if anything started, if I couldn't finish it, I knew that I had the guy that was there beside me that was going to take care of everything pretty damn well. So Schultz was arguably the toughest guy back then. He to that point, he was the toughest guy that best fighter I've ever seen. I mean, he had some epic battles with Terry O'Reilly. He and Terry O'Reilly would go at it, and Terry O'Reilly was a guy that was tougher than nails, and they would go at it damn near every time they played, and Schultz would beat him, and O'Reilly would keep coming back. Uh, but I look back at those. I also remember Keith Magnuson. Remember Keith played with Chicago Blackhawks, and Keith was a pretty tough guy, good guy from Saskatchewan. We're right near where Davey and I are from, and he had before every game in warm-ups, Clarkie would skate around and he would say, Keith, are you ready, Keith? Keith, are you ready, Keith? And he'd just keep saying the same thing over. And then when he get Magnuson's attention, he'd say, Schultz is going to kick your ass tonight. And Magnuson would get so wired up that the first time he was on the ice with Schultz, he'd go after him. And Schultz beat the shit out of him every time they fought, unmercifully. But Magnuson would keep coming back for more. You remember that, Dave? You remember those days?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean Keith Magnuson he held the penalty record in the National Hockey League when I came in the league, and he was my first, I guess, in essence, big fight, and I got to be good friends with him. And actually, after his career was over, our career were over, and he was a wonderful man. And
Yep.
you know, it's such a shame that he got killed in a car accident.
Dave, real quick, guys. This portion of the show is brought to you by Rite Aid, your neighborhood pharmacy. Make sure you head to riteaid.com. Anything you need. Was there anybody that you look forward to fighting? Was there
No.
guys that you ever did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
No, I hated it. It was off. I enjoyed the results. I got people for the first time in my life. Again, I've never had a fight on the street or a schoolyard or anywhere. Came close a few times, but everyone thought I was tough, and I didn't think I was tough. But I did. I could handle myself for the most part. Usually on the ice, I would never fall down, and I fought a lot of times.
What did you?
And I was, again, it was something that in fact, I'm writing a book now. Good point to bring this up. It's called Hammered by Life, and it'll be out in about a year from now. And I'm trying to figure out how the hell I did what I did. I'm been obviously doing a lot of thinking about it, and hopefully I can explain because I don't know how I did it. I don't know why I wasn't afraid of like when I was a kid. Uh, anyway, it's been quite a ride, and again, I'm just so happy and grateful that I got a chance to play on the Philadelphia Flyers and be involved with all these great guys and to win a couple Stanley Cups.
Well, I mean, it's amazing because just listening to Don talk about you or Clarky or any of these people, you were like the support. Like you were, hey, you better watch out because Schultz is coming, right? Like, and to have that responsibility as the ultimate protector, I think says so much about you. And you know, every kid, and I can attest to this, every kid would worship Dave Schultz. Like, you know, this was the era of Muhammad Ali and the baddest man on the planet, right? And you were the baddest man in the NHL.
Well, yeah, you know, again, how I did it, I don't know. I do now that I've had a lot of time to think about a lot of these things, particularly since deciding to write another book. One troubling thing is what I'll go to my grave with is why? Why would they, after 2 Stanley Cups finals, trade me?
Right.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And how many I don't think they've won since, have they?
No, we have not.
That's with you, huh?
It's the curse of the hammer.
That's kind of that's the life cycle, unfortunately, of sports. You know, I don't know why either, but that's the way it goes, right? You know what?
Well,
Why Dave was so tough? Two things made him a good fighter that come to mind with me. Number one, his balance. I would get into a fight and I'd lose my balance and I'd slip and fall or something like that. His balance was amazing. That's number one. Number two, he would always set himself, and he had the patience to set himself to get ready when he was in a fight. And number three, he could take a punch. So he was always willing to take that first punch to get
yes.
himself set. And once he got set, it was game over. I mean, I've never seen anybody like it that had the courage to stand in there and get himself the patience to get himself set when you know another guy's trying to hammer you. And then once it was game over. I mean, you
Well,
can.
sorry, go ahead. When
No,
I fought O'Reilly 9 times. 9. Most guys like Gillies, I fought twice.
9
Bouchard
times.
twice. 9 times. I mean, there was times I've seen video where he made sure he got in front of me when I was going to fight someone else. Anyway, and he's how I always say. I mean, he's a great guy. He was a great leader for the Boston Bruins, and he came a long ways from. I played him in the first year was in the minor leagues in the Richmond, or not the Richmond, Boston Braves. But yeah, I don't know how I did it. I'm trying to explain it. In fact, buy my book, and by that time I'll have figured it out.
I love it. I can't wait for that book. Well, guys, I got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this. You guys are a treasure. You guys are incredible. I thank you. I mean, Dave, Don, you provided these memories. I really think that you shaped an entire city. You helped foster the love of sports, and you instilled pride that I still think exists today.
Well, a great bunch of guys, and again, I'll never forget my great, glorious years with the Philadelphia Flyers, and winning those 2 cups, and the guys. I mean, it was win today, walk together forever, and that's how I feel.
That was
That's a
Keith
good
Allen,
point.
right?
Well said. That was Freddie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freddie Sherrill. That was against the Russians. Win today, we'll walk together forever.
No, that was before that was before the 6th game against Boston.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yes.
50 years, it's hard to remember that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah.
guys are great, man. God love you guys. God bless you.
Hey,
Thank
go
you.
Phillies.
Go Phils, man. That's right, Don.
Yes.
Go Phils.
They look good, don't
Early
they?
game. Yes. I went to a game the other day. What a great team.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
You
they're
got to keep
awesome.
us posted on the book, too, so we can promote it, okay?
Okay.
All right. God bless you guys. Don, Dave,
Thanks.
thank you so
Okay,
much, man.
take care.
Happy
Thanks.
anniversary, guys.
See you,
Yeah.
Don.
How about it?
Thanks. Bye-bye. See you, Dave.
Was that not incredible? I could have went all day, but I went through all kinds of breaks. We have to tell you about all kinds of our great sponsors for the program. But dude, how incredible was that? You, as a young guy, get a whole kind of history lesson to this thing.
Yeah, it was so cool seeing, you know, all those great stories, just hearing that locker room, because like with all those characters, you really want to hear what that locker room was really all about, and it's pretty cool to see. The best part about it, because that's my favorite part, that these athletes, Philly sport athletes, they've been here for since the 70s, right? They're
You heard
still-
him Don, I thought, was incredible in that he's talking about his first time in Philadelphia. And if you go over to Penrose Bridge, I mean, now imagine in the early 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's post-apocalyptic because you see the smoke from the refineries, like the white smoke, the foul smell, right? And then that part of Center City was a den of iniquity.
Yeah.
And he was right. It was peep shows and adult bookstores. I mean, that's what Sansom Street and Market Street was.
That's what I hear.
Like it was no, Rittenhouse Square the way like it is today. Like the town, especially Center City, was desolate. I mean, you had a couple like Walnut Street was a decent, kind of thing. There was a real movie theater, but it was nasty, man.
Was Chestnut always a shopping street? Because there's
It was
always
really
been retail.
Yeah. Like Chestnut Street had some stuff. Walnut Street was like probably the nicest, Walnut and Locust. But really, it was not. It was nothing like it is today. It was a lot of like urban decay and it was hard scrabble. It was nasty. So when he says he calls his father and says, "I'm in Philadelphia, and one thing I know I'm not going to do is stay here." And here, 50 years later, he's in love with the city.
He's still in tune with the community. They're talking about the Phillies at the end there.
Like, how
That's
great is
so
that?
cool.
Well, it's not
So
over
cool.
because we have two legends coming up in shortly. Bob Kelly and Bernie Perrant will join us as we
excited.
commemorate the Bullies.
Absolutely.
50-year anniversary, winning the first cup yesterday. Incredible. Hey, real quick, let me just tell you about Rite Aid. All right. Listen, the Rite Aid pharmacists are incredible. They are an amazing resource, all right? And I know all about Rite Aid. My Aunt Cookie, she had a terrible disease, God rest her soul, it's called scleroderma. And so she was on all kinds of medication. And there was always kinds of, when you're on that kind of medication, there's, things that you need for side effects, to counteract side effects, and it was a whole thing. I mean, it was almost a chemistry set. And so the Rite Aid pharmacists that you would go in South Philadelphia were so kind and so helpful, and they took such great care. And to this day, I have this fondness toward Rite Aid. And look, same thing. You got, you need shots, you need up-to-date stuff like shingles, pneumonia, tetanus, chickenpox, whooping cough, any of that stuff, you go to Rite Aid. All right, you go to riteaid.com. You can set an appointment. You can walk in, check it out. I'm telling you, by the way, shingles, you must get that. 1 in every 3 people in the United States will have shingles in their lifetime. It's no fun. All right, so adults age 50 plus, you'll get 2 doses of the shingles vaccine given 2 to 6 months apart. Adults 19 years and older who have weakened immune system because of disease or therapy, you need that too. All right, so make sure you go to riteaid.com. All right, get your appointment. Make sure they'll answer all your questions. If you have any kind of concerns or any of that stuff, they'll answer all of your questions.
Absolutely. Well, earlier today we were talking about the PHLY Phillies tailgate. It was an awesome time. Cavs Catering hooked us up with the great food and beverages as well. But listen, the people working at Cavs Catering, they need a beverage too. And obviously they're not drinking on the job. We had Olipop there, guys. And these, I'm telling you, the workers of Cavs Catering kept coming up to us for more Olipop because they needed more and more of it while they were working and taking care of all of us. It's that fantastic. Talk to some of the workers. They're giving me some rave feedback. They're like, this is healthy. I can drink this every single day. And we told them, you guys should. And we hooked them up with the promo code that we're about to tell you right now. But guys, Olipop is awesome. Everybody tries it, loves it. It's because it's the world's first functional soda that has that classic soda taste, but it has the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support that gut health. Olipop is that new kind of soda with 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of fiber per can. And that's where our health nuts go crazy over right there. With that great taste and that low sugar and that high fiber, it's awesome stuff, guys. But we told the great guys at Cavs Catering, we'll hook them up here today. But if you guys need it, you guys can check it out at Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, you name it, they have it there for your Olipop needs. And if you guys want, here today we got you with the promo code, all right? You can see it live here on the screen. PHLY20. That'll get you 20% off your next Olipop order. The discount only applies to one-time orders and not to subscription orders. Olipop is also sold online at drinkolipop.com or Amazon, or you can head to those retailers that we mentioned as well. So for your next great meal, pizza, hoagies, sandwiches in general, make sure you guys choose Olipop. Thank you, Olipop.
All right. Thank you, JP. Now we continue our celebration, the 50-year anniversary of when the Flyers won the first of their only 2 Stanley Cups. It happened yesterday when the Flyers in 1974, May, beat the Bruins. Joining us, another beloved figure. If you are around Wells Fargo and you happen to run into this man, you'll get a big smile because he's a true Philadelphia sports treasure, the Hound, Bob Kelly. What do you say, Hound? How are you,
Hey,
buddy?
Anthony, how are you? You're just as loud as ever, for crying out loud.
Always got the big mouth. Buddy, happy anniversary, just to start off.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And, you guys are so supportive through all the years, and as all the fans are here, so it's a great win-win situation for all of us.
You know, Hound, I was thinking about this and talking to the guys. We had Schultz and Don Saleski on, and what you guys instilled in the city at that point, like I think you instilled a sense of pride that was missing and also a sense of love of sports that has carried on for the last 50 years.
Well, when we first came to Philadelphia, all we heard was, Philadelphia is a city of losers and stuff like that. Nobody wins in Philly. Atmosphere was down a little bit. I mean, look at the euphoria that's going on in the city right now with all the new buildings and everything that people have there. And I think that, to answer the first question, part of the question you had there, Schulte and the Bird and the different guys there, we all had jobs to do. We all knew what we were there for. We knew why we got drafted. We knew why we got the early sit down. We were built to go against the Boston Bruins and the St. Louis Blues. I mean, they used to just pummel the Flyers. They would get in the playoffs and get the crap beat out of them. So, Mr. Snyder and Keith Allen, they built a great team with a good coach in Fred Sherrill that, allowed us to go out there and play. And like I said, you knew your role. So it was good. And, we all had each other's backs. There was no one person stands by himself. And we used to always say 20 guys going on the ice, 20 guys are coming off the ice. So that's kind of the way we were.
What do you remember from that day? The day, Game 6 against the Bruins. What do you remember from it?
Well, I didn't play in the game, so that's how much I remember. I remember a lot of it. I got knocked out in the Rangers series against Ronnie Harris there, coming down the boards, and I got caught in there and got pinched, and I couldn't get away, so he tweaked my knee. So I missed the games in Boston. I couldn't fit on the airplane with a cast on. There's no place to sit in the Boston Garden, so it was a lot easier just to watch it at home. But Bruce Cowick filled in for me, and Bruce is the same type of temperament, good-sized kid. He's not afraid to get dirty out there. And he did a really good job. I did warm up for Game 6, and I was going around, and it's not trying to be humble or none of that stuff, but it's like, I can't jeopardize the team for me to go out there and say something goes wrong in the first period or whatever. Then I've hurt the team because I took a spot from a healthy guy, and I didn't want to do that. And I said, if you go Game 7, I'm playing. So what the hell? They got over with in Game 6.
How about the celebration? Don said that you guys wanted to go back to Rexy's, but you couldn't get out of the Spectrum.
No, you couldn't. It was, that was our go-to place, and only because, again, back when the Flyers first came in, that was the first watering hole going over. We didn't buy homes. A couple of the older guys had a house and stuff like that. I mean, we lived in, furnished apartments, condos. And, when you come over there, you get done practicing. Freddie would have us on the ice at, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's crazy why we're up so early there to do, but we just had a really good time, and it was just fun being part of the Flyers and watching everything come to life. The crowds got bigger, got louder. And the parade was just second to none. I mean, Bernie screwed the whole parade up, in case anybody didn't know or didn't hear, but he's the one that stopped the parade because he had to go to the bathroom on Broad Street. He ran into somebody's house. He knocked on the front door. He said, "Can I use your bathroom?" In the meantime, everybody's pulling away. There was no barriers in between the cars. It was just, a slew of people there, people on the poles and everything. And it was just crazy. And I said, if he didn't stop to pee, Benny, we would have had the parade going together. But, that's just Bernie. He's just crazy, a lot of fun. And I'm sure the people, I think what I heard is that he had to sign the toilet seat when he left.
Well, it kind of speaks to the town's love affair with you guys, that who would have expected a parade, 2.1 million people would show up. I was joking because yesterday was the Italian Market Parade in South Philly on 9th Street, and they do the grease poles. Well, when the parade, they were preparing the city for the Eagles. If the Eagles win or the Phillies win, they grease the poles. And it started that day of that parade when 2 million people come into Center City and are hanging all over the place. I mean, was that scene just incredible chaos? Like, what do you see in your mind's eye?
Well, you're caught up in all the hoopla and everybody cheering and they're ripping your shirt off and pulling your sleeves off, reaching through the car. I mean, we were sitting in, up in the moonroofs of the cars there, so the people could get and see you, because other than that, they're trying to pull you out of the car. But you know what? No violence, no shootings, no nothing. It was no looting. It was a perfect day for a parade, and it was a perfect the way that people acted in the parade was outstanding. And I think that part of the notoriety is, it's good that you're an athlete, and it's good that you can do this, and it's good that you've achieved X amount, but it takes the people to drive it. And when you get that kind of love affair out there for all the people, for our team, like, it was just a perfect scenario for a great day. And we cherish stuff like that. Those are the memories that'll stick with us forever, plus all the teammates and the coaches and GMs and, obviously Mr. Snyder.
The fact that you have remained, I don't want to say relevant because that doesn't do it justice, but that you became these historical figures over 50 years. Like, people, I say the Hound, and it could be JP, who's my co-host, who's, early 20s. He knows Bob Kelly. Like, these people know you guys generation. What's that like, and why do you think that is?
Well, I think it we try to compliment our fans and our people who supported us, and the biggest thing is getting out and doing stuff, and we still enormously give back. Buco right now back to the communities. I just finished doing a ball hockey in Ridley yesterday. I did one in Marlton before that. Our guys were out in the Learn to Play program. We're getting young kids involved there. Cindy's doing a great job for us, getting all the people lined up and the different groups that we can go out there and support, and just to show that we're in the community. Like Riley Cote, Todd Fedoric, they're out there. We switch around, help out when we can. We do the school recesses. I think we did somewhere around 30 schools this year, I guess it was, and we got DJ Hollywood in there. I mean, it's a full show, but it's a giving back to the people. It's giving back to the kids, and not who we are, but what we stand for. And we stand for the city of Philadelphia. We stand for our team, and we support the Phillies. We support the Eagles big time. And back in the day, we used to play some softball games in the old Vet Stadium. And if you were bad, you got to go downstairs and meet Judge Seamus McCafferty. So.
Those softball games were legendary. You guys had a softball team that you would barnstorm around the area. I remember it being like a big deal when you guys came around, like where you guys were playing, and there would be lines of kids. I remember being one of those kids, you know, like you guys would be playing softball, and like it was like, wow, my God, there they are. We'll watch you play ball. It was nuts.
Yeah, we're multi-talented, and we did play in all kinds of neighborhoods. I mean, we're well treated. People love seeing us come there, and we love to give back, do different things. And again, we've traveled. We're part of so many different things ongoing down here. The department is unbelievable the way that they've pulled things together and who we can support, what we can do, how can we help the city out better, the grants that we're giving out here. Cindy has all those numbers, but it's just wild the way that, you know, they've gravitated and haven't forgot. And people come up, hey, yeah, I remember you. I said, you weren't even born back then.
Well, Bob the Hound Kelly, there was a great story that Don Saleski said earlier. He said that Phil Esposito said to him on the ice, he said at the end of his shift, we're not scoring on that kid. And that kid, of course, was the great Bernie Perrant, who joins us. So
Hey.
what do you say, Bernie?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hello, Froggy.
I want to say something. Bob Kelly looks like a movie star, for God's sake.
He does, man. He's in great shape. Look at him, Bernie. Well, you're
Oh,
always,
yeah.
but listen, you're always nobody's like you. I mean, you
Hey, wait a second. If Bob would have been in shape he is now when he played, we would have won 2 more Stanley Cups.
No, knowing you, Clarkie would have said, stay on the bench, kid. You played well, Bernie. We just had to send you to Toronto to get your season so you knew what the hell you're doing in the goal.
Yeah, yeah, you're kidding. Yeah. Oh, God.
happy anniversary,
The greatest-
Bernie.
You know what? It's hard to believe. You know what's hard to believe? First of all, 50 years since we won the first Stanley Cup, and you know what? And we have to be so grateful, Bob, that there are still a lot of guys still living from those years, and that's 50 years ago. You know, and they just a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, I talked to Clarkie this morning. You know, and that was good. I haven't talked to him in a long time. It was good talking to him. And
You call collect?
yeah. Oh, definitely. Sure. So anyway, go ahead.
What did you guys talk about? What was that? What was that like? I mean, that you guys are bonded for life
Yeah.
from those teams.
Yeah. So the one disappoint you, Hound, but when we die, we're going to heaven and we'll be together forever.
It better be a big angel carrying us, buddy.
Yeah. But you know what, with Clarkie, I had a chance to talk. It was the first time I talked to him in a long time. And, yeah, it was good. It was good to hear his voice. And I thanked him because without Clarkie, we don't win the Stanley Cup. The leadership that he had was just incredible. Yeah.
So Bob said that during the parade, you had to go to the bathroom, so you stopped and you ran on Broad Street and you knocked on somebody's door to use their bathroom.
Right. They, the guy said, "Get out of here," you know. Then his wife came in behind him and she said, No, you're welcome. Go ahead, use the bathroom. Yeah. So, but you know what? I'll never forget. I sat in the front seat of the what do you call this?
Car.
The float, you know, the float, and the guy said, "You're sitting way up front. There's one seat open." So I went way up front, sat, and I realized I'm sitting next to Frank Rizzo. Okay, you remember Frank? So, so now we get going and through Broad Street, you know, 2 million people. And I'm looking at Frank and he's looking at the top of the buildings all the time. I said, "Frank," I said, what the F are you looking at? You know, he said, "I'm looking for snipers." I said, "Billy." I got up. I said, "You're on your own, buddy."
Bernie,
Crazy.
Bernie, did you sign the toilet seat when you left?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, and
Memory, baby, memory.
and then she, I think the woman got like $50 for her or something. So I said, no shit. I said, yeah, yeah. So, so anyway, hey, Bob, you know what? Let's be grateful the good times we had, you know?
You know
And you
what?
know what? You know what? We paid the price too to win those two championships, you know? So,
When
but
you look
go ahead.
when you look back at the team and you got the Van Imps and you got the Ashby back there, you had the Hillman brothers in there, and you had Ross Lonsberry, you had guys that up and down the lineup. I mean, they're hard to replace because they're just such hardworking guys. They play for the team. Never a
Yeah.
bad word. You know, wherever we would go, we land in a different town. You better have 20 seats sitting there ready because 20 guys are going to come and have a beer, have a soda. Then, you know, they'll hang for a little bit and then get up and leave. But everybody gets together, you hang together, you're just part of it, and nobody lets anybody get, you know, out of control or wild or anything like that. So it's just, you know, a great situation with a great bunch of teammates that we'll never forget.
How good, Bob, was Bernie? Like, I don't think people understand, younger people, just how great of a goalie that Bernie was during that period of time. As you know, he had Dryden and Cheevers, and Bernie was the man.
Yeah. Well, the World Hockey League didn't do him much good over there, so I'm glad we got what we got out of him. Anyways, he's certainly one of the best goaltenders. We used to piss you off all the time because you'd go in there to take a shot on him, and then he'd catch the puck and throw it back. Here, try again, kid. You know, I mean, it was, you know, he'd come up with so many different crazy things to do in the locker room, keep people, you know, in tune, up, and just going to help each other out and having fun. And what prank can I play next? And he had lots of pranks.
Well, you guys were so close. I mean, the thing that really stands out is just how tight that you guys were. Like, that you guys were always together, whether it's the off season playing softball or going to the Phillies game or whatever, or during the season and playing. I mean, you guys were always, it's seemingly together, and there was no egos. And you had great players like Bobby Clark and goal scorers like Reggie Leach and Rick McLeish, and it felt, you know, very unified.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down other than wherever one person went, everybody would go. That was our family. The locker room was our family. We came from Canada. We came from all over, and the guys in the locker room, that's our family. That's who you want to get there and be there. And then of course you got Rexy's bar across the bridge, so you can go there and have a beer after.
Yeah. All right, real quick, I just want to do one little exercise with you, and that's when I say the name, what comes to your mind, and maybe a quick anecdote or a quick story. So if I say Clarkie to you, what's the first thing you comes to your mind?
Well, they took a chance on him to get him here in Philadelphia. It worked out great. You know, great sight by Keith Allen and Ed Snyder together, and how to do there. And you know, work ethic second to none. And when Freddie first came on the scene, this quick story. When Freddie first came on the scene, we're out there doing a drill and all that stuff. And Clarkie said, "Jesus Christ," he says, "this drill doesn't make any sense whatsoever." So he skates up to Freddie and he goes, "Freddie, this drill makes absolutely zero sense." He said, "Yeah, I know. I was waiting for somebody to come and tell me that it was no good." So, I mean, he was setting the guys up to see what kind of a response they would come back. He said, "It doesn't make any sense. You have to do things the right way." I mean, he's the one who used to go over and study the Russians. And, you know, when the Russians came to town, that's a whole story that all you guys know about. But, you know, they were afraid of who we were, and Freddie prepared us. Freddie prepared us for the Russians in the right way and what to do. And then when we got ready to play the Boston Bruins, Freddie said in the locker room, he said, "Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give the puck to Bobby Orr." I said, "Why the hell would we give him the puck? That's the last guy you want having the puck." But he said, "You're going to dump the puck in the corner. I want you to bump him. I don't want you to do anything dirty. Don't stick him. Don't elbow him. Don't take stupid penalties." And he said, "He'll start to tire out after the second game because he plays so much ice. So make him work. Make him turn and work." And it worked. So you got to believe in the man.
You mentioned the Russians and that point in time. I mean, it's the Cold War, right? They had been killing everybody across the NHL. That Red Army team had like barnstormed across the NHL, across North America, and like you you guys were the only hope of the league. And that game, and I know so much has been done on it, but it's such an amazing story of like how you basically stood up for America. Like it was that, like the gravity was that big.
Yeah, there was definitely no love in there for the other team, and you know we won it for the team and for our fans. We didn't win it for anybody else outside of Philadelphia. And I mean, you know, you got fans out there, but you know we had a mission to do, went and did it. And I think the thing that you can ask Clark if you get an opportunity at some point in time is that when the whole NHL heads, not Bettman, whoever was in there, he hated us too. But anyways, they came in the locker room. Hey guys, we got to win. We got to do this. It's like, get out of here. We know what we have to do. We don't need you guys in here. You're showboating yourself. Get out. So it's kind of the way we left it with the NHL.
That's awesome. How about Schultz? We talked to Dave a little earlier. How it was interesting because he said, you know, I never got into a fight out off of skates, right? Like I didn't fight. I didn't even know how I was tough. And, you know, he was almost like this unwitting tough guy, policeman, the great Dave Schultz. Like what comes to mind with Schultz?
You know, he was just a tremendous competitor. He's a really tough kid. He could fight. He's got that good prairie chicken skin. He doesn't cut. So he got that wind. You're used to that wind in your face, you know, most of the day. But Dave is an awesome guy to play with. Do anything for you. He was always there to help out. You know, him and Rick McLeish were very, very close. And you know, nothing but great things to say. I mean, there's not one guy we play with that we really, maybe one or two, but you know, you had problems with. But you know, we just had a super team that you wanted to be part of, and you worked hard to stay in that position.
And Barber and Leach and McLeish. I mean, you know, how talented. Like those guys, we almost overlook because of the bullies thing, how great of players that those guys were.
Well, intimidation was a big part back in the day. Going in the Spectrum there, like you hear the stories about the teams coming over the bridge in buses, and all of a sudden the buses get quiet, and you know everybody goes quiet. But you know, again, it's a sport that we did it because we had to. It was time to stand up, and it was time to take control, and you know, we enjoyed playing. We liked the rough style of hockey to play.
Do you ever think 50 years that you guys would still have this kind of stay? Like we talked about it earlier. But here it is. It's your anniversary, and you're being celebrated, and you should be.
Yeah, we like I said, it's a close group. I mean, as an alumni, I mean, we have a big golf outing coming up here at DuPont coming up here in a few weeks. We have our fantasy camp coming up here in August. We've got 74 guys coming in town from all over North America. Giving back, Brad Marsh, every kid deserves a bike. I mean, adaptive bikes that we get made in Winnipeg cost anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 for the young kids. Kids who've never had a bike before, they get on there to ride. And the list just goes on. And Brad Marsh has done a tremendous job leading us down here as far as different things to do and how to get, I mean, to run, walk, different things that we're involved in that people can get involved in and come and hang with us. We're not bad people. We just like to have fun. So it's really good. And like I said, I can't say enough about Brad Marsh and Rob Bear, who does all the minor hockey, the youth hockey. He's involved with all that stuff. And I mean, we're out there in the community. I mean, that's where we need to be. We need to be out there trying to help organizations just go in there and put a staple on. Hey, we are here to have some fun. And like I said, yesterday I had a good time in Ridley. I mean, great kids, great parents, you know, just go and have fun. I mean, it's part of being who you are.
Bob, thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate it. It's always great connecting with you. You look fantastic. So happy anniversary, pal.
You know what? We're very proud that we're here this long, and thank you guys for all you did for all the years. You took a lot of crap coming in the locker rooms back in those days.
Great stuff, right, brother. Thanks, pal. The great hound, Bob Kelly. Fantastic. All right, what? Yeah.
You ready, cuz? Talk a little about Shady Rays?
Go ahead, buddy.
Let's do it. Guys, listen, Saturday, it was raining a little bit, but that sun was kind of peeking through. It was trying to show itself a little bit. But luckily, in the car, I had the Shady Rays ready for when that sun was, peeking through a little bit. I had my eyes squinting a little bit. Ed McCaffrey probably wouldn't appreciate that. But I love Shady Rays, guys. It's one of the great products here. You guys know me, my love for sunglasses. But the best parts about Shady Rays is that, guys, with all these sunglass companies, obviously, listen, they're a little bit pricey. But with Shady Rays, they give you great quality at a great price as well. And that's one of the things that we love too. You ever lose or break your sunglasses? That sucks, right? Well, Shady Rays, the best part about them, if you lose or break those sunglasses, they will replace them for you. That's right. They will replace them for you. If you ever happen to run into some of those instances, they will take care of that for you. They are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. So you know that people also love the Shady Rays. And here we got you guys covered, as always, ladies and gentlemen, with that promo code. Use that promo code PHLY. You'll get 35% off your polarized sunglasses here today. That's a great deal, guys. 35% off these amazing polarized sunglasses. The sun will never bother you again. That is right. So head on over to Shady Rays. Get your new shades here today. That's shadyrays.com. Use the promo code PHLY for 35% off here today. Thank you, Shady Rays.
All right, JP, let's go Butcher Box. Boy, do I love the Butcher Box. I tell you all the time about my boys, right? Anthony and Massimo, who are 2 carnivores. And guys, if you have a family and you want to feed your family, you want only the best stuff, right? B, you're looking for cost. C, you're looking for what's easy, right? We got grilling season coming up. This is where incredible stuff, the Butcher Box. All right. Easy, fun. Okay, this is easily fun, high quality meat and seafood that you can trust. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, wild-caught seafood. You're mainly raised. There's no antibiotics. There's no added hormones. This stuff, I'm telling you, this is what I love, all right? And I feel great about feeding it to the kids and to my family. One of the other things, too, is with grilling season, it's so easy because I'm stocked, all right? I got the Butcher Box, and you can get whatever you want. We just got the beef box, burgers, steaks, chops. It's incredible. You get ribs, like all the good stuff. And here's the deal. Butcher Box is offering our people an amazing offer. New users get free meat plus $20 off your first box. That's right. $20 off your first box and free meat. Butcherbox.com/PHLY. That's butcherbox.com. The code PHLY so you can get this exclusive offer before time runs out. Get the Butcher Box. All right, guys. My man is at a golf tournament, and his phone froze. It overheated, and I got it back because I got to talk to him. He is the greatest, the great Bernie Perrant. Only the Lord saves more than Bernie. There you go. Were you in the clubhouse?
Hey. Yes. They just introduced both of the guys now. They're going out and playing the game. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, like I said, happy anniversary, Bernie. What does this whole thing mean to you, Bern?
Well, you know what? The first word that comes to me, okay, very important, is being grateful. Grateful that, was with the right team, the right players at the right place at the right time. And you know what? I want to share with people too that nobody succeeds on their own. You succeed as a team. And that's what we did. We had a wonderful team, great coach, great GM, fantastic crowd in Philly. And when you put all this together, and then a good goalie, of course. No, just kidding. But when you put everything together like this, it doesn't surprise me that we won. But I'm very, very grateful that we did that. Yeah.
Well, you were like a rock star. I mean, let's face it. Here you are, French Canadian. You were cool, handsome guy. Like you were like the man. Like back in the day, you were a rock star in this town and all across the NHL.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's be realistic. As a matter of fact, I just talked to him this morning. We had Bob Clark, as the captain, and his leadership was incredible. And I believe today, without Clark, we don't win the Stanley Cup. That's how powerful he was. in the dressing room, outside when we went on the road. We had dinners together, and we became one big family. And that's how it looked. The first year, Boston, they had Bobby Orr, Busick, and all those guys. My God, they should have won in 4 games, and we won in 6. How about that? There's a reason for it because of that leadership of Bob and the support of the crowd in Philly and the togetherness we had as a team enabled us to win the championship. Yeah.
What do you remember from when the teams would come into the Spectrum?
Well, what I remember is they would shake a little bit, but that's all right. And it was the same approach too, at home or on the road. We played the same way, and we knew that, especially when on the road, we knew that people were watching the games on TV, and then at home, of course, with it was a sellout every game. That support was just a. I shared this with young kids. I said, remember, you don't win by yourself again. I'm going to repeat myself. You win as a team, and pay attention with the team you're involved with, and you will succeed.
I always think that you guys, especially at that point, Philadelphia had a bad reputation nationally, right? It was sports, beyond sports. It was a city that had no respect. And I think you guys went a long way into, one, giving people pride here, and two, instilling a love for sports.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It was a beginning. It was a beautiful. Also to walk away from what you just said a little bit. Keith Allen, the GM at the time brought the right people, the right players who would connect together, which is very important. You could have a bunch of individuals, but playing as individuals, even if they're great, you will never accomplish anything. So that and with the association we had with the crowd, with the people. As a matter of fact, 50 years later, you know. I feel the same way with the crowd in Philly. It's just incredible. All I want to do is hug them and thank them for those two championships. Incredible.
I mean, I've been in public with you, and it's uncanny. Kids that were born well after you stopped playing, are drawn to you, and watching the way people react to you. It's the coolest thing. It's an amazing phenomenon how that team is still relevant today.
Yeah, it is. It is incredible, and I love when we're at the golf course here doing a little promotion, and I love to take pictures, with people and put one of my rings in their fingers, and take the picture, and and then they go, wow, it's incredible, and it's been 50 years. Think about that.
What's your all right? Your last thing, your number one memory of you playing, of winning those 2 cups. What's the greatest memory?
Well, they great as winning those 2 games were incredible, but especially the first one when we won against Boston at home. It was the second one was in Buffalo, which just as great, but the first one was at home against Boston. And I'll never forget quickly, I have to share this with you. There's 10 seconds left in the game. We're winning 1-0. Okay. 10 seconds left in the game. We're winning 1-0. The face-off is in Boston then, right? So you figure, hey, it's over. So they drop the puck. The puck goes to Bobby Orr. And at the same time, he shot the puck. I was looking at the clock, right? And the puck came all the way across the ice, missed the net by about 2, 3 feet. And I realized that, oh, thank you, Lord. He missed the net. He could have scored. It's incredible. It's scary.
God,
I
because
know. Oh, yeah.
you're looking up at the clock, figuring it's
At the-
over, right?
I know. Figure there's about, maybe 2, 3 seconds
My
left.
God.
Yeah. So
How amazing is that? 1-0 to get the shutout. That you were Man, the greatest bumper sticker I ever saw was "Only the Lord saves more than Bernie."
Yeah, and every day, guess what? I thank the good old Lord. Because to put me, what 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 went on through my career, going different places or whatever, I always said yes to life. And then it brought me back to Philly at the right place at the right time to win the two Stanley Cup, to be a member of the two Stanley Cup. It baffles me, but at the same time, I. I love to live my life this way by being grateful. And when you're grateful, beautiful things happen in your life.
It's beautiful. Hey, we're getting into your summertime. Bernie in the boat. Everybody knows about Bernie and your boat. This is your weather, buddy.
Oh yeah, oh yes. We'll go out. We'll go fishing. We catch big fish. As a matter of fact, the biggest fish we ever caught was a 900-pound blue marlin. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the fish died on us, so we brought the fish in. The fish was 16 feet long, and we came back to Cape May. Biologists came in. They weighed the fish. It was 900 pounds. And the biologist opened the fish up, and he said there was an old female, about 24 years old. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What? How long did it take to get that fish in the boat?
Oh, about 2 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. It took about 3.5 hours.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Which is good. Which is good because I wasn't sitting in the seat. I was running the boat.
Well,
But you know what?
You're the
You know
greatest,
what?
buddy.
Yeah, life is beautiful. All kinds of, if you're positive, you're happy, beautiful things will happen. So remember this. I read a lot of books on this. If you want to have a good life, be happy. Okay? And sometimes you'll get a curve. That's all right. It's part of life. But most of the time, be happy. And when you're happy and you're grateful, second one, being grateful, beautiful things will happen to you in life.
Well, you have that personality. You are a treasure. People love you, and you and Jeannie have done. You're a terrific couple. God bless you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Jane, you want to say goodbye? Here you go.
Hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. All right. The great Bernie Perrant. We'll come back, our Cousins Clubhouse, to wrap up the show. Hope you enjoyed our little retrospective, talking to the guys and hearing those stories. Good stuff. JP, VG, coming up next. Cousins Clubhouse. Thanks for hanging. The Anthony Gargano Show brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Download it today. So lots of fun visiting with those guys.
It's great.
I hope you. Now it's so interesting because John Zapata, who is in his early 20s, violations Greg Caputo, who is old like me. What did you think of it? Like, they kind of shaped the last 50 years. I was, I don't remember it. I was too young, but like just be able to see it.
Obviously, the stories are awesome. Like they obviously have great stories. Those teams were fun. But just kind of hearing what it was like back then. Like, obviously, like the Eagles Super Bowl, we had the parade. They had like the buses, right? They had like back then they had just the cars. They were just sitting on cars as they were going down the parade.
Yeah.
Like just hearing like those parade stories and how they just were. You can definitely tell like the love for Fred Shearer that they had too. We talk about Fred Shearer here on the show, but
the fact that they lasted, like, which is
legacy's
find
strong today.
Really interesting. Like VG, like that part. I remember little kid looking at Center City, and there was no pride in town. Like hearing the stories, like when you heard about the stories of Philadelphia when we were little boys, you heard about a town that was just, they said it, losers. It was, there wasn't anything pretty about it. It was ugly.
Yeah, and there was no like David Lynch, famous director.
Yeah.
His inspiration for Eraserhead was the ugliness and the dreariness of Philadelphia, certain sections. And it's like we didn't have, I was pretty young when this happened, but as far as I can remember, like there wasn't, like you were saying, there wasn't a thing. Philly got their thing from these guys, our whole like persona.
Yeah, I don't think we had.
We were just Philadelphia.
I mean, I don't think we had it. Like New York was the mecca of the United States, right? It was financial. It was the bigness. It was London. It was one of the great, world capitals, even though it wasn't the capital of the country. D.C. was the capital. They'd stolen the capital from us. Like we were
just stuck between New York and D.C.
Yeah, because we were once the political capital. I mean, you got to go way back to the inception of the country, but that was who we were. And then when we lost that, Boston had the university thing, right? Like
true,
right? Like very erudite and learned,
like their tea and a little snooty up there.
Right. We had none of that. Like we had nothing. And I do think that Flyers team gave us sports, which gave us a new identity for us to wrap our arms around.
And it's more than just sports. It's the whole identity of Philly. It's the persona
mentality.
we've taken on. It's like toughness and
bullies.
Well,
But think about that moniker, the Broad Street Bullies. It stuck with that organization for decades, even after those players retired.
But they were like rock stars. Someone said in the comment section, they transcended sports. They were just rock stars rolling around town.
I mean, can you imagine imagine 50 years ago and talking to those guys, and those guys in their 20s, and they're JP's age, right? And they're Bernie with his French accent. He was in that era of the big rock band and the big rock superstar. I mean, he was that kind of guy.
And I heard over the weekend, because a lot of people were covering this, they flew coach back then.
Yeah.
They would buy 3 seats for 2 players, and they'd just be on a regular coach flight with people. Pretty wild. No charter.
Well, I mean, like flew coach, right? Like you wind up going to, how many times did they mention Rexy's?
Yeah.
And going to that bar. Like you just went to a bar.
I know. Right
And
down
like
the street from me.
they were to hang with you. Like but that was all of it. We had these Larry Boa conversations and, all those dudes like of the 80s. Like they were part of, the fabric of the town. Even into the 90s, I got to tell you. Like if you go back to the Lindros.
Yeah,
like
they were like Main Street over in Voorhees.
Yeah.
They were always there.
No, but they were in Center City. Even at
Pat Burrell was always Irish pub.
Irish pub. In fact, I go a little bit before Lindros, the Tocket, Zezel. There was PTs on 2nd Street or Front Street, and they would always be on a Sunday night. Like you'd see them there after a game. They played 7, and they'd be packed in there.
How about the difference of athletes? They go to practice, they grab 3 or 4 beers after practice, then a 6-pack for the train ride home.
Sounds like a good time, man.
It's like 10 beers a day.
Oh yeah, like those guys were hanging out. Like that was that was amazing.
And now after the practice, they're drinking their smoothies, the recovery drinks and all that. Like
no one touches booze. It feels like
they're
these
stretching.
days. Yeah,
like it's crazy. It's completely different now.
Yeah.
Hey, let me run this by you. So Cal Ripken's 26-32 games probably never be broken. I don't think Dave Schultz's 472 minutes in a season will ever be broken. The closest it's come in the last 24 years is Pete Worrell in 2021 or 2001.
Wow,
he had 354 minutes, 118 minutes behind.
The day of the goon is gone.
Changed, that will never be broken.
Yeah, I found him interesting too because he's talking about how he goes, I never fought.
That's wild, right?
Right, and like it became this. And him telling the story about Bobby Clark going up to Terry O'Reilly, Schultz, he's going to kick your ass. Like, like that's great stuff.
Well, he was a nasty dude, Terry O'Reilly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like these mythical figures.
That's what I was thinking about that today. They are like mythology kind of figures, like Zeus and Apollo and Orion.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they live at, these nicknames they have.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hound and the Big Bird.
Yeah.
And the Hammer. I mean, they're all
Great names. I love those names.
Yeah.
The Hammer, man. That just fucking
Isn't that
lights
crazy?
me up,
Bro.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
You gotta
He's fired up with the bullies.
I'm sorry.
You gotta go in the jar. You gotta donate to the jar, Jules. Get him to donate to the jar.
Yeah, my bad.
To that one.
That was good.
No, it's the truth. All those guys had, nicknames and they were just they were bigger than life.
Let's get back to nicknames and fun hockey, cuz with this team now.
Well, Michkov, how about that?
Michkov.
There's hope.
I know. I don't know if it's. There's a part of me that wants them to wait a year to bring him over. I don't know. I don't know if they're ready for him yet. I want him to have a good experience. I want to be surrounded with some talent when he gets here.
You don't want to be.
I hear you.
You don't want him to be like McDavid in his early years.
You don't want to rush him.
I don't want to rush.
You don't rush him. The Russian.
How about the irony of those guys? The bullies with the Russians, and now our future of the organization is hanging on a Russian.
Dude,
I think about it all the time. It was, Ed Snyder had an edict not to sign Russian players. He would sign Swedish players and Finnish players, but not Russian players.
That was interesting.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
And now the Russian will be the savior of the
Russian
franchise.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is
so weird.
That's why I'm telling you, man. We talked about this with TV Todd on Friday, dude. A series, like how you see Winning Time, the Lakers series on HBO.
Yes.
I think the Flyers series would be incredible
Must see
because
TV.
of that
Definitely.
time period.
You do it right.
And that time period in Philadelphia, which was I love that time period.
You think that's an easy sell too? It'd be a series that fuels the Russian hate, the anti-Putin, anti-Russia stuff
right now. Yeah,
no, it's incredible.
I told you I was waiting for that for like 5 years until I didn't hear anything else. But that story would be great, and just like NHL hockey fans would eat that up.
I know. I know.
And all the stories those guys are telling today, I mean, they're such storytellers as is. So, like all those stories about the bathroom and just the partying and everything that was going on.
Imagine, if fast forward to the Phillies parade, let's say, knock on wood, right? Wow. Bryce Harper, has to stop the parade to go use the bathroom and knock on somebody's door.
Right.
To go use the bathroom.
And the husband's like, get out of here, you bum. And the wife's like,
no, come here.
No way.
It's okay.
No way. Sign the whole bathroom. Everything in the bathroom.
Right.
The sink, the toilet.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Need something to eat? Need a drink?
Incredible.
Yeah, dude.
All right, a couple things. Best and worst of the weekend. Then we'll get to VG's Nugs. So best and worst, of course, our back in the day moment's been the whole show, and that's brought to you by Rite Aid. All right, what was your best of this weekend, JP?
So the best of the weekend, cuz, is the Philadelphia sport fan. I'm going to explain here with the 4-course meal of our weekend, right? So you start off with the appetizer hors d'oeuvre, right? The Union get back in the winning ways. They smoke New England. So now we move into the super salad, whatever your choice is. The Atlanta Braves get absolutely smoked yesterday, lose 9-1. They also lost Friday against the San Diego Padres, which was really fun. moving to the main course. The main course is the fact that, thank the Lord, we do not have a New York and Boston Eastern Conference final in both the NBA and the NHL. Obviously, we all know the Boston lost on Friday against the Florida Panthers. And then yesterday, I love Indiana. Love those Pacers taking care of the Knicks. Love seeing Tyrese Halliburton with the Reggie Miller hoodie. And then just the fact that all those Knicks fans, after they were beating us, we want Boston. It's just hilarious. And then the dessert cause, of course, is the Nuggets losing. They blow the lead in Game 7. And by the way, the Nuggets still haven't
up 15.
Up 15.
That wasn't just a lead, man. They were
wild.
They were rolling that team.
I know they won the championship last year. I'm not taking anything away from them, but because they have yet to be a seed higher than 4. That's something to keep a note. So that was our weekend as Philadelphia sports fan. We may not always be winning, but it's cool to celebrate some of these moments. And that was our great weekend as Philadelphia sports fan.
I like it. VG, you're best of the weekend.
I'm tired of hearing about these Phillies schedule too. Didn't they sweep the Padres?
It's nonsense.
And
When
Braves are getting
first of all,
smoked.
it's baseball. It's not football. All right.
Yeah.
Baseball's half the battle is the attrition, not the opponent.
Very true.
Right? Like this idea of who you play is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm with you.
And there's only 5 teams like competing. Like realistically, in the MLB, there's only 5 teams that are actually competing to win the World Series each year. You can't say every team is.
I mean,
2/3 of the league is below 500.
Right. Yeah, so like.
Right, but I will say this: like the randomness of the MLB playoffs is what is scary, right? Like that's where you see Arizona and you've seen these teams make it. But to your point, you're right. Like I mean, listen. Where you play to who you play.
You're right.
You're playing every day. Like you're winning games. The fact that they're 20 games over 500 is absurd.
Yeah.
That's clearly the best team in baseball.
It's absurd.
Yes, it is. My best is kind of similar to JP's. There was one image over the weekend. It's Spike Lee dejected at the end, and that just made my day. It made my whole weekend.
I know. I mean,
There he is.
There it is.
To the Pacers again. Man.
That is great. That's a great picture, man. That's a great thing. The hat.
In the garden, too, man.
You see, they're all like cheering with like 3 minutes left. Like, we're so grateful for the run you gave us. Get out of here.
Well, the fact is, though.
Cheering for losing.
No, the fact is, though, I mean, it's a shame. Like, if it's anybody else, it's a shame because.
But it's not.
Well,
it's New York.
I know, I hear you. But
Yeah, it's not a shame.
Yeah.
Brunson gets hurt, Hart gets hurt. Like, if that was us.
They were celebrating with the Bell's palsy, the Knicks fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
No.
shirts.
They don't get remorse.
I'm with you on that stuff. But I'm just pointing out that was abnormal amount of injuries.
Yeah, good for them to go as far as they did with the injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, New York and what they were saying about Embiid. Yeah.
I hear you.
Wow.
New York. I love it. All right, worst of the weekend, JP.
Depending on how you look on it, but the Marlins manager, Skip Schumacher, called out Sixto Sanchez. It was not pleasant because
he got rocked yesterday.
Yeah, 4 in the first inning. His ERA right now, because it's 6.41. If your manager's calling you out in the media the way he was yesterday, it's not a good sign for your future here. But thank you for JT Realmuto. That's what I will say. But Sixto Sanchez not looking good in Miami because it's bad. It's bad.
My worst was I was out in the rain on Saturday at a garden center buying plants and flowers so that we could plant this weekend. And not fun.
So where you?
There I am. I'm pulling the cart of flowers.
You look very happy. You look very happy in that picture.
Are you in Jersey?
Yeah, I am. I'm at the Ramblewood Nursery or Farm. It's
Like
like
Joel's.
Tim Al Laurel?
It's Joel's World. Yeah, over on like Church Street, Church
Yeah, I
Road.
know you know. Okay.
And so what you doing?
We're
Rooftop?
buying coleuses. No, in the alley. She's got a plant coleuses, some impatiens. She's really stoked about getting some dill and curry. She's going to start growing curry in the alley.
Well, there you go.
Pagan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a flower box?
And soil, special soil, $29 for a bag of the special soil.
Dude, I hear you.
We tried like $160
My
on
wife,
plants
when
and
she wants
flowers.
the whole garden, she got like, she's like, I got peppers and tomatoes and strawberries and blueberries and everything else. course, we have a lot
more
room out there. And she's like, next weekend is planting weekend. I'm like, it's got to be baseball, can't it?
Dude, I get the same reactions. I hate it too.
Yeah,
I hate that stuff.
Anyway, she's like, you love to eat them. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, true that.
That's what ShopRite's for.
Yeah. All right, VG's Nugs.
Yeah, we got some good Nugs. Matt Strom, his last 18 and a half innings, scoreless, 29 strikeouts,
Stromboli.
1 walk.
I like that.
Look at that.
The Stromboli. Look at him.
18 and a half scoreless.
That's ridiculous.
We need to start that fan group. Matt Strombolis.
Yeah, they're down there. People were yelling. Every time he comes in, they yell, Stromboli.
No, I want to see the costumes.
I got a recap of the Gregory Soto trade.
Okay.
You know who was in that? Who Dombrowski had thrown into that?
Dude, I'm going to be so pissed. It was
Cody
Nick Maton.
Clemens.
Wow.
A utility
Good pickup.
player.
And Matt Vierling.
For Maton. Oh, these are Ant's favorite players. Nick Maton, Matt Vierling.
The amount
Donnie
of love. People I don't like to trade.
They love the Vierlings.
They love them. Maton. Have I told you how many Maton calls I got?
He's a good utility guy.
I got more Maton. I'm like, dude, are you nuts? Like, you're worried about Maton? Like, seriously?
For a bullpen.
Vierling?
Yeah, man.
But those are the moves that, like, the Gillick makes. They get these utility players thrown into a trade.
Dude, he's got, I read it earlier. I mean, he 9 for 28, 3 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, and 10 ribbies.
He never hits a single.
Are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Great trade.
Oh, I found a picture of Market Street back in the 1970s.
Oh.
It was pizza
There you
and
go.
porn.
Oh, my God.
I heard stories about this. This is insane.
25
Same
cents
time.
live new dancing girls.
Cassandra.
Good deal.
And that's just 2. There was a stretch of them. There
So-
was more than just 2 places.
Dude, that's the 70s. It looks like the 30s and 40s.
Wait, so VG, was this like cross you where like the fashion district
this
is
like
now?
this is like the 1900 block of
Shanson.
this is Market Street actually.
Oh, it's Market Street?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fun town.
Fun town. Well, they had arcades. Like, they had the porn arcade, like the adult arcades, the regular arcades.
Wow. Different times.
Win some coins through some games, and then you go next door and watch 25-cent
Yeah,
girls.
I mean, think about it. How could, and you know what's nuts? Like, that was Center City.
Right.
Like, that's
Night and day now.
That's Rittenhouse Square, basically.
yeah.
Not even Kensington. It was
The universities are right over that little bridge
I
over the
know.
Schuylkill.
I mean, think about that for
all
a
those
second.
kids going
Yeah.
over there.
That's great. That's a great pick.
Here's another great picture from the big tailgate party this weekend. Our own Julia. She was out. She got the purse.
Hey, Jules, the Phillies purse.
She got the Phillies purse.
Dude, you are the greatest Phillies fan.
She literally is.
Loves them. I don't know anybody. She loves them.
Jules, when
She talks about, she loves going to games. Like, it's why I appreciate her spirit. She loves going to games. She has a million. How many? She's got. We always joke about. She's got 4 pairs of Philly slides. How many jerseys you have?
I only have 2 jerseys.
Okay, 2
One
jerseys.
that's a little too small for me now, so I gotta get a new one. I have a Real Mioto and a Victorino. Victorino is tight.
But you have a lot. You have all kinds of Phillies. I always
merch.
see Phillies merch.
Merched up, yeah.
She is.
She's very
she
merched
loves
up.
it. God bless her. She's such a. She loves it.
100%.
Jules, when we win again, we're gonna get matching Phillies tattoos. All right.
Thank God for that purse because the Porta Johns weren't great.
Oh,
so she
yeah.
had the antibacterial Purell in that purse.
She came in
Saved us
clutch.
all.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Came in
Oh,
clutch.
man.
Yeah, the poor, being at these kids tournaments, the only thing that's there.
Yeah, those porta potties are rough.
Yeah, the kids are nasty too.
So, Andrew, do we have the video of the bar?
I can give me 1 second.
So, yeah, I was hanging out. Saturday was a good Phillies game. Nice
Right.
comeback. And hanging out at the bar. And the bar's not packed, but the people who are there, you would think it's the playoffs. Like, we've talked about this last week. And people are going bonkers
Everywhere.
over a game in May.
Well, it's interesting because
I got
they're celebrating. Let's take a look. This is after they. Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's May, and there's celebrations like that.
Yeah.
That's why sports here are awesome. Just brings people together.
I did, you know, that reminds me of a moment. I was, this is years ago. I don't know. And I was watching, and I remember missing, it was a Flyers playoff game. And I was watching it. There's a bar on 19th and Rittner. And I remember being in that bar watching a Flyers game. And the people were freaking out. I'm like, there's nothing like that community thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it goes, and this puts a bow on it. It started 50 years ago.
Yep.
I love walking through my neighborhood
team.
on a Friday night, and the Phillies are on 6:40, and every TV you see inside, Phillies. You got the Phillies game on. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone, especially when they're doing well, everyone feels that camaraderie. It's awesome.
Or like a food store on Sundays when the Eagles are playing and everyone's in the jerseys or they have their garb going on. And you just go Birds, go Birds, go Birds. It's one of the best feelings ever.
And I'm proud of you. You can be a guy who rushes summer to get the training camp. You're not rushing it this year.
I usually rush it.
I know. You want to skip right past summer usually.
I usually can't wait for training camp in football, right? Now, when you have a team like this, and if you notice, the last couple of years, I've stopped doing that because, it's if you have a good baseball, and this one especially, because this is a great team.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, they were good, but, listen, there were some holes and all. Mm-hmm. They're now elites, best team in baseball. That I want to cherish.
Yeah.
Well, OTA start today.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's your Eagles moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it, but I'm good.
I'm with you.
And like you said about the playoffs with the Phillies too, not rushing it. You just want to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy the next couple of months.
I can't fast forward, and not to baseball play, but not to MLB playoffs.
Let me one last thing. Ryan Spader, the ace of Spader on Twitter. The Phillies are 26-6 over their last 32 games. They've played 21,534 games in franchise history. The last time they had a better 32-game stretch, May 28th to July 1st, 1892.
Wow.
When they went on a 27-5 runs. This is their best stretch.
Since 1892.
Over 100 years,
Oh,
guys.
my gosh.
Oh, my God, 1892.
That's crazy.
The War of 1892 was happening. And the Phillies were 26-6. What?
It's awesome.
All right. That's a great nugget right there. So
VG's nugs.
for JP, VG, Andrew Frazier producing, and of course the great Julia Hoff, our executive producer. Thanks for hanging with us. All right, stay tuned. All the great, all PHLY content coming up all day long. Make sure you read us, you watch us, you listen to us, all the stuff. And welcome to our great people at Fox, my local, right? My Philly local. We love it. Fox Local, we are now streaming on that platform. So we love being a part of the Fox family, Fox 29 family. We love you guys. Have a great day. Be careful. Thanks for hanging, and we'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.